Hey everybody, KC here. So I was reading a story the other day about how the owners of Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville Hotel in Times Square in New York City have just filed for bankruptcy for the second time in just a few months. Now the location, which is not owned by Buffett, it's a license operation, basically is likely to survive because they seem to have found a white knight that's willing to loan them $170 million, which is going to go a long way towards paying their current costs and retiring at least some of their more than $300 million in debt. This is interesting to me because I recently had a chance to go to the Margaritaville in Times Square. I was in the city, as you all know, because I went into the city for a Wednesday evening performance of The Shark is Broken. And I had never been to the Margaritaville there. And I had a little time before curtains, so I figured I'd stroll over, maybe have a beer or margarita. Stroll, it's probably the wrong word. I'm sort of dodging the teeming mass of what maybe you call humanity that is occupying Times Square, but that's a different story. Now, as I said, it was a Wednesday, but it was a Wednesday in August, a Wednesday in summer. This is a big time for tourists. It's also a great time to be a restaurant or a bar in Times Square because most shows have Wednesday matinees and evening performances. You've got a captive audience in there, right? And restaurants, it's usually pretty hard to get a seat. Here's the deal. Margaritaville was empty. There were some people there, but not very many. And I thought about this a lot afterwards, and I couldn't figure out what the problem was. And I think I've concluded is they have an authenticity problem. Let's see if I can say the word. They have an authenticity problem. Now, listen, Margaritaville has never really been authentic, right? It's sort of a Disney-fied version of what it's like to waste away on a beach, albeit with $10 beers and $20 well drinks. It can be fun, though, in the right place. But Times Square, I don't think, is the right place. For some reason, Times Square heightens the sense of artificiality, especially because this restaurant looks pretty much the same as any other Margaritaville that I've ever been to. But this is not the same kind of place. This is Manhattan Island, not a Caribbean island. And they've done nothing to really recognize that fact. It just felt totally inauthentic to me. Now, to be honest, this may have been heightened by the fact that just a few days before, I had been down in Florida. And I'd been hanging out with Mrs. Content Guy and some friends at a place called the Naughty Dog, which is not too far from Fort Lauderdale. And that was a very authentic experience. And wasting away is a little bit of what we did. Now, listen, here's the deal. I love Buffett. I love his music. I love the whole persona. I really hope that his health returns and he's able to get back out on the road because I'd love to go to a Jimmy Buffett concert. I'd even love some of the time that I've spent in some of the Margaritavilles around the country. I have really fond memories of these morning newsbeat parties we used to throw at the Margaritaville in Las Vegas. Back when FMI used to do its shows. It seems a long time ago. Those were great, great parties. Any of you that were there know exactly what I'm talking about. I just think they have to be careful. They're opening a lot of these things, right? And I think that I have this just nagging feeling that as they expand the footprint, what they may be doing unwittingly is diminishing the brand. And I just think they have to be careful about that. Anyway, here's the word. Don't diminish the brand, always be authentic. That's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.